What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm gonna cut that. Hey y'all, today we're talking about the photo capabilities in the A7S III. So if you've been on Twitter, you probably hear all these people saying, oh, 12 megapixels, that's not enough for professional photos. Well, today, we're gonna find out. Got my boy Jacob out here in the wilderness. We're gonna do a little comparison. He's gonna shoot on the Nikon D810, which has 36 megapixels, 3 times more than the A7S III. We'll take the same exact photo, edit them to look as similar as we can, and then just kind of show you the results, see if you can notice based on megapixels. So if Jacob's ready, then we're gonna go shoot some photos. I'm probably not in that. Okay, so I think we got all the photos we needed. I'm gonna head back to the house now, try to edit them to look the same as far as colors. Sorry, I'm trying not to die. 1 second. And then see if you can tell the difference between the 12 megapixels and the 36. Let me know what you think.
Whew, what a hike, am I right? It's been a few weeks, I've worked on the photos, so let's answer the question, is 12 megapixels enough? I do have an opinion formed, that's what we're doing here. So before we start comparing them, let me just say that taking photos on this camera is a wonderful experience. The dynamic range is great, the autofocus is insane, and the out-of-camera colors have been upgraded, and I think they look better than any Sony camera so far. But that's not what you want to hear. You want to hear, is 12 megapixels enough? And the quick and easy answer, in my opinion, is yes, if you're not cropping them or blowing them up on a website. We're gonna talk about that. I'm not saying they're not, but let's talk about cropping. Because when we talk about megapixels, we always talk about like, oh, I have 60 megapixels. I can crop way in, or I can blow it up on a big print, or I can put it on a website. Now again, generally you would think, and I would think, that the 36 megapixel photo would look better cropped in than the 12 megapixel. But I mean, looking at these examples that we have before us, my fellow camera users, I think the A7 III looks better in every example. And just a heads up, we're both using a zoom lens. We're shooting at f4, we're shooting at a high shutter speed. On this pinecone one, where I think it's the most prevalent, Jacob actually took both of the photos, so the camera is the main difference. And on this photo, I think that the A7S III is significantly sharper. There's significantly more detail in that pinecone. I also think these look like little birds. I'm not sure what's up with that. It's kind of fun. Look, little birds. Anyway, you can see the little birds a lot more in the A7S III than in the Nikon photos. It just gives me hope for my 12 megapixels that everybody's just talking trash about. And the thing is, Jacob uses this camera and crops in on these photos all the time, specifically when shooting sports photos, and he's never had a problem with it. And on the flip side of that, I've cropped in on some of these 12 megapixel photos and not really been okay with the detail. I don't know if it's just knowing that they're 12 megapixels or if the detail is just really not there. I mean, technically it isn't there because the megapixels aren't there. Anyway, final answer, should you crop these photos? Should you use them in a professional environment, blown up big on a website, cropped and given to a client? I'm gonna say yes. And don't come after me because there's a little caveat. If you own the A7S III and it is your primary camera or your only camera like me, you're probably not mainly a photographer. If you were, I don't think you would have bought this camera. If you did, that's sick. It's an awesome camera. Nothing against you. But I'm more thinking about the people like me who are mainly videographers, mainly cinematographers, but also love taking photos or will do a client photo gig now and again. If I got a photo gig, I would easily use this camera for it, even if I had to crop it, even if I had to put it on a website. But if I made a switch and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a photographer. I'm gonna do mainly photo gigs and work my way up and get big money photography gigs. I would not use this camera. One, because I would have the big money gigs to pay for a better photography camera like the R4 or anything with more megapixels. But yeah, that's all I have for y'all today. I appreciate you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please hit like down below. Helps grow the channel. Y'all, maybe we're at 1,000 subscribers by the time I'm editing this. I hope so. If we're not, go subscribe. Y'all are the best, and I'll see you next week.